Live again. It's Josh Goldstein coming at you. I posted about this earlier today. We have a great victory to celebrate in court, in federal court, and I want to tell you all about it. I made a video earlier today, got a lot of views, and TikTok sent me a little notice and it said you should go live. And so I'm going to follow what TikTok says and go live so that I can answer all the questions that you have about this. I hope everybody's doing well. If you don't know me, I'm Josh Goldstein, your favorite immigration lawyer. And basically, here's what happened. So I'll give you the backstory about the case, and I'll tell you how the hearing went. But before we do that, if you don't know me already, as I said, I'm Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer. I'm based in Los Angeles and in Boston. We have offices all over the country, and we handle cases everywhere when it comes to immigration. What we did for this case is our client lives in Mississippi, and she is originally from Djibouti. She's a U.S. citizen. She petitioned for her husband and her two kids. They went to the interview in early 2023 and were put in administrative processing. There is a husband and two twin girls who are 8 years old, 7 at the time. So we went to court, we sued, and we filed a lawsuit. It's called a writ of mandamus lawsuit. This is for an unreasonable delay. Yes, you can pay USCIS fees with a credit card. File form G1145, I think it's called. So anyway, we went to federal court in Mississippi. We filed a lawsuit to challenge the delay as unreasonable. It's called a mandamus lawsuit. When we did that, we got the government, instead of helping us, the government filed a motion to dismiss. By the way, if you're on TikTok, I have a little goal here. So if you can help me out so I can reach my goal, I'd appreciate that. Anyway, the government filed a motion to dismiss. Instead of doing its job, the government just sat on the case, and it was so frustrating. So we fought back and we said, look, this isn't right. You have an obligation to give us a decision, and you didn't do it. So we fought back. And after we fought back, they scheduled a hearing. And at the hearing, the judge asked me one question, and I pointed this out in my TikTok video. But the judge asked me one question that was super important. And this was the question that when the judge asked this question, I knew exactly at that moment that I was going to win the case. The judge said to me, "How old are the daughters?" How old are the daughters? I didn't know off the top of my head. I had to look it up. But when he asked me how old the daughters were, I could tell that he gave a shit. He cared about this family and the children. And he was thinking to himself, what's going to happen to the kids if they're separated from the mother? He was thinking about that. And it really dawned on me that this person has compassion and cares. A few weeks ago, I went to court. The judge was very unsympathetic to our case and never asked any questions like that. So basically, I left court so happy. I made a video on TikTok. I'm going to be sharing it elsewhere. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it inspires you to know that you can reach your immigration goals. Some of our clients are so discouraged. Immigration is so difficult. It's such a mindset battle. And a lot of times people hire us after they've worked with other immigration lawyers, and they've already had a disappointing experience several times over. Uncle Matty Daddy, we appreciate how much info you share with us. It's obvious that you care. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's really kind of you to say that. But no, I'm passionate about this. And what questions do you have? I'll try to answer some of them while I'm here. But I just wanted to jump on quickly. Yeah, I mean, really, I get inspired by all of you. Anybody that spends time with me or my content, it's super inspiring, and it makes me really motivated. How long have I been an attorney? Oh man, I have been a lawyer for a long time. I got my law license in 1999, so that's not recently. um, I love being a lawyer. I love it. Don't get depressed. Ginger and Ryder, why are you depressed about your case? You can win this. You can do it. You can do it. Ask me questions. Let me know what if I can help. I'm here for you. Um, Delicious says I contacted your office and they want me to send info about the case, but I don't have any copy. Um, well, send us what you have. Do you have anything? Did you work with another lawyer? If so, ask them for a copy of the file. Adisu says, after filing the mandamus, how long did it take to get the hearing? I don't know off the top of my head. I think it might have been 4 or 5 months, maybe 4 months, something like that. It's unusual to have a hearing. We don't have many of them. Um, we don't have a lot of hearings. I like the challenge of the hearing as a lawyer professionally. It's fun to appear in court and to appear for a judge. And federal court is a very serious place. With the judges are really smart. This judge had sort of an aw shucks attitude. You know, he would ask questions. He wouldn't really be challenging you. He would just give you a chance to speak. But you could tell that he was highly intelligent, and he would just sort of let the lawyers give space for the lawyers to do their thing. Um, have I practiced immigration law my entire career? No. When I first finished law school, I got a job at a big white shoe corporate law firm, and I was miserable. Um, there's nothing wrong with doing corporate work, but it wasn't for me, and I wasn't passionate about it. And I found my way after that. They let me do a lawsuit for free, a pro bono lawsuit, and I chose to do an immigration case. This is a while ago, and I never looked back. Um, your team is going to call me Saturday, says Sean. Sean, if I recall correctly, wasn't your case sent back to the Department of Homeland Security for possible revocation? If that's so, I guess we need to find out the details on your case. Let me know what questions you have. I'm here to help. 221G. Here's someone on Instagram who says, I have a case. I'm in deportation now. Can I talk to you, please? I don't go to immigration court and I don't handle deportation defense, but I can refer you to a good lawyer who does do that work, depending on where you're located. If you tell me where you're located, I'll give you the names of some people who work in this area who I think highly of. And then, you can try to find someone. Here's a friend of ours on Instagram, Shimamu Saibi. My parents have been interviewed in September, 6 months ago in Ankara. How long does it take to get the visa? And after 6 months, if they didn't get the visa, can we sue them? I don't know how long it will take, but if they went to the interview and 6 months have passed, yes, we can sue them, and that will get their attention, and that will get them to issue the visa. Does that help? Here's Princess Adiaze. What happens if USCIS cancels an interview? Well, presumably USCIS will schedule another interview, right? So that's what I would expect would happen. Now, if they don't schedule the interview, then we have a problem. So let me know. Um, what other questions do you have? I'm looking for some juicy questions. Let's see here. How do you pay USCIS fee before or after you get your visa? So it depends on the type of case and the type of fee. But if you're going through consular processing, you have to pay a fee. And then when you arrive, you get your green card. You pay that fee to USCIS. So it's in the consular processing system. Talk about religious visas. I worked for 1 year for a nonprofit religious organization part-time in the US. Okay. So you want to talk about R1 visas? R1 is a religious worker visa. So in order to get that, you have to be a member of a religion, and you have to work. You have to have some training in that field. You can't just get a job, for example, sweeping the floor at a church, and then you'll qualify. You could get a job if you're an ordained minister who went to divinity school and studied, or you're a member of the clergy, or you're an imam or a rabbi or something like that. You have to have some specific training in that area. I've done religious worker visas for Catholic priests, for imams, for rabbis, a Tibetan Buddhist monk. So I have all the religions covered. In the afterlife, I'm going to be good. I got all the religions under my belt here. But I don't do religious worker visas anymore, though. Okay, here's a good question. What steps to take for a person who came illegally as a minor and wants to become legal? Okay, so if you're here and you're let's not use the word illegal. Let's go with undocumented, because no human can be illegal. You can be undocumented, though, right? But nevertheless, how do you legalize your status if you're undocumented? Well, there are a lot of ways to do it. It's hard to say, but I'll give you some general thoughts. First of all, you definitely want to go talk to an immigration lawyer. You could consult with me and my team or someone else, but you don't want to rely on a TikTok video just to get your legal advice. Your life, it's too important to your life, right? So, the first questions I'm going to ask you, if you are undocumented, I'm going to ask you how you came into the US. I want to know how many times you entered the US. I want to know if you were detained at the border. I want to know if you entered with a visa and you were inspected and admitted properly. Maybe you overstayed the visa. That's quite different. I'm going to ask you if you're married. I'm going to ask you if you have any US citizen or permanent resident children. I want to know whether you've ever been to immigration court, whether you've ever had a work permit, whether you've ever applied for asylum. I want to know your criminal history, your immigration history, your family history, your educational history, et cetera, et cetera. I also want to know if any members of your immediate family have either are currently serving or have served in the U.S. military. So I'm thinking about all the different ways that I might be able to help you out. Does that make sense? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I'm getting a lot of questions here. We'll take some more. I worked 1 year paid and 2 years volunteer. Imam is enough to apply for a religious green card. So that is a question from someone who wants to know about getting a religious green card as an imam, a volunteer imam, paid or unpaid. So I think the first step would be to try to get a religious worker visa, an R1 visa. It's a temporary work visa for religious workers. And after you get the R1 visa and you've had it for a while, then you can apply for the green card. I'm not an expert on R1 visas. It's been a long time since I've done them. So here's a question from Dragon. How long can a naturalized U.S. citizen stay out of the U.S.? The answer, as long as you want. There's no requirement that you have to live in the U.S. as a U.S. citizen. Here's Sean said, do you ever call or email straight to the consulate to get a visa unstuck? And the answer is no. We file lawsuits against the U.S. consulate, embassies, and the State Department and USCIS. If I could get a visa approved and unstuck and approved with a phone call, then I wouldn't bother with lawsuits. I wouldn't even have this TikTok and these videos. It would be easy. Everybody could just call them and say, hey, why are you delaying my case? And then just approve it. Here's a question from San Francisco on TikTok. I applied for a green card last March, and they asked me for initial evidence 4 months ago, pending. That's pretty frustrating right there. What else have we got here? Is there a waiting period for my wife to attend college while my wife gets here with the CR1? I'm not sure I understand this question. Here's Kaka on Facebook. I have a question. Okay, ask away, sir. Fight Flight 05 says, our friend here says, what's the total duration to bring my spouse after the I-130 status? Says 3 months. I'm not sure exactly, but the I-130 is going to take 8 to 12 months. Getting through the National Visa Center is going to take 6 months. And then it'll probably take you another 3 to 6 months to get an interview. So those are just guesses. Here's a question from Ramon. Deported and re-entered undocumented. Previous green card expires after deported 12 years ago. Green card. Can I get again? So if you were deported from the U.S. and you re-entered by sneaking across the border, and now you're undocumented and you want to get your green card back, I think that you will not be able to do that. Should come as no surprise, right? Uber H2, our friend on Instagram, says, hey, good afternoon. In advance parole for DACA recipient cures illegal entrance. Thank you. That's a question. So, yes, if you have entered the U.S. without inspection, you snuck across the border, perhaps when you were a really little kid, maybe somebody brought you across into the U.S. If you get approved for advance parole and you travel, in general, you're allowed to come back to the U.S. after being given permission to travel. That will effectively create a legal entry that will allow you to get a green card through adjustment of status, in effect, curing the illegal entrance, as Hubert points out. How do we contact you? Says the Somali Sinj Asink. Check out my link in the bio. Oh, here's Roger. Guys, Josh and his team are great. They help me and my family. Best experience ever. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That's really cool. So many good questions. So many good questions. If you have a question, put it in the comments below. I am just getting fired up and I want more questions. I'll try to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll tell you that too. Where am I located? I'm located, well, there's two answers to this. One is we have an office in Boston and in Los Angeles. And the second answer is that regardless of where you're located or where I'm located, I can help you with your immigration case. We have clients in all 50 states and around the world, and we can help you out. How long, let's see here. Let me see if I can figure this out. Ah, here we go. How long is it going to take after submitting an RFE? I submitted it 4 months ago. It depends case to case, but hopefully you're going to get it soon. Arfan Zihad, can I apply for an NIW, National Interest Waiver, if I was rejected? And can my husband apply for asylum? He has life-threatening issues. Well, anybody can apply for National Interest Waiver or asylum. The question is, should you do that? What are the risks? What are the likelihood of getting approved? How do you get the best? How do you maximize your chances of getting approved? So there's lots of different issues here. So here's a question from Happy Unicorns. How much do I have to make when I petition for my fiance and mother for residence? Check out form I-864P. P as in Paul. How can I move to the U.S. from Germany? If you want to move from the U.S. to Germany, you need to find a lawyer like me in Germany, because I don't know anything about the German laws. If I knew how to live and work in Germany, I might move there myself. Then I could help people move to the U.S. from Germany. K1 visa was in administrative processing since May of 2023. Do I have the right to sue? Absolutely, you do, and we could help you. Arfan says, do I provide assistance with national interest waiver? We do not. We do not handle national interest waiver cases. I've done over 100 of them in my career, probably, but we don't do that to this. Oh, so I would say wants to move from Germany to the U.S. Well, if you want to move to the U.S., there's many different ways to do that. So I think it would be helpful if you give me some idea of what you're thinking about. Does that make sense? Let me know. How long is an I-601A waiver taking? From Bobby Singh 193 on TikTok. I-601A waivers take forever, like forever and ever. They're going to take you a long time, like several years, I would think. And there's not much you can do about it. We can file lawsuits and challenge the delay, but I don't know. Here's someone, a one-track USA flatbread trucker. I've been here for 34 years. Is it hard to get U.S. citizenship? Well, I guess that's like saying how long is a piece of string? It depends, right? Depends on how long. It depends on your immigration case. You've been here 34 years. If you have a murder conviction, you're not going to get it. If you have no criminal conviction, no other issues, it might be easy, right? Salamare says, I don't have any questions anymore. Sorry. Okay. Can I remove my name from the screen? Yes, I can. Salamari86, can I sue the consulate? They wrongfully denied my husband, saying he didn't have a waiver when he did. I'd love to help you with your immigration case. Maybe we could do that. A lawsuit may not be the best thing, but there could be some other way to help you get approved. My Ani, welcome. M Salam Cage 95. Delete all photos. Fernando. Here's a good question. Rayhan Mohammed. He had an interview in Egypt for IR1 visa. He has to submit some updates for some documents. We did not before the interview. The officer, he took my passport to print the visa and they said no visa. Okay. I wonder what question that is. Is that it? Let me know what questions you have. Fernando, our friend on YouTube, when someone has a green card for 10-year residency, what happens when a child turns 21 before the 10 years? Do they have to leave? So if a child has a green card, a 10-year green card, at the end of the 10 years, they could perhaps apply for naturalization or citizenship, or they could just Maybe the child could just renew the green card. Those are all valid options, right? Um, Jaime Veje says, if a person commits a crime and was expunged, can he apply for a U visa? Well, it depends on what kind of crime, right? Is it jaywalking or aggravated assault? Those are difficult. Can you sue for a delayed EB3? Yes, maybe.